Here are some reasons why you want to start gardening down here in Pennsylvania in the early March. Any seed that says to be planted as soon as the soil can be worked, directly sown into the soil outdoors, it can be sown now. So you may as well start planting some of those direct sown seeds. That you can direct sow into a raised garden bed is some peas. So in this one, I've just planted some Lily Cascades peas. So hopefully by late spring or early summer, we'll have some peas to eat. And no, the frost won't hurt the peas at all, even when they started to grow. They're a cold, hardy plant. So you want to plant them about 2 inches apart, and you don't even have to hoe or anything. Just as long as the soil is workable, just get your finger, push the seed down, and then cover it. Usually the sign of spring that tells you that the soil is workable is that all the spring bulbs are starting to come up. So here in my raised bed, I have some tulips coming up, as well as the onions I put in the ground last year. Don't ask me, just trying it out. And then also the garlic that we planted is also coming up. If you haven't bought in any garlic bulbs yet, now is the time to get them and get the garlic bulbs into the soil as soon as you can with this nice March weather. In the garden here, we also have our daffodils coming up, and I actually interplanted some peas with strawberries. So here in this first bed, I went in between the rows. So the original row is here, the original row is there. The main problems I just came into when planting the peas was the strawberries that I left kind of like in the middle, because whenever they reproduced, I just left any that rooted in between as long as it was in the bed. So peas can be interplanted with strawberries. Peas provide nitrogen for the soil. You do need to leave the once the peas are done, leave the plant there and let it actually get back into the soil, so that will help put the nitrogen back into the soil for the strawberries. What I've learned is planting peas with strawberries is not necessarily the best way for high production of peas. But for early March, where I just want to use some soil that's not going to be getting in the way when we rototill the whole garden, this was an easy way to do it. It's just to plant the peas with strawberries. Over here, we have our bed of strawberry plants, so all of that. And then right here is where I just hoed a small part of the ground and planted a row of peas in. So it's not in between the strawberries, it's exactly right beside it. Right behind me here is where I just planted a row of sweet peas for my cut flowers, as well as I surface sowed some poppies, as well as put some echinacea in the ground. Now all of those need to be direct seeded. It's what they like. I've tried growing poppies in containers before and they just didn't like it. So I'm direct sowing them this year. And the sweet peas I actually used our new single row planter, which made it super easy. You don't have to bend down and put it all in. It does it right for you. Standing behind me is our main garden space. This is where we put most of our vegetables and fruits that we grow, as well as some of my sunflowers and annual cut flowers as well. So here, learn from my mistake from last year. Last year at this time, we were like, okay, we have nice weather. Let's get a head start on getting rototilling so that then we can get a head start on some planting. Do not do that. Just go ahead, let it go. Rototill just spots at a time that you need it. The ground is pretty soft, so really you could just plant right in it right now. But say if we would go and rototill this again like last year, what would happen is when we get really heavy rain in April, it would flood it. It would completely flood it. You wouldn't be able to plant in it. You'd really have to wait until a dry spell, and by the time a dry spell comes, like then you have to re-water it. And so when a dry spell comes, it'll actually turn your rototilled soil that's completely wet into like something rock hard, and you're gonna have to rototill again anyways. So just wait on rototilling unless it's a completely new area that you're going to plant right away. So my last cool outdoor early spring project that I have going on is I have a container full of radish and spinach seeds that I started back in February. With the spinach and the radish growing in the container, it has been really cool to start those underneath the grow lights and then to transfer them to this container, which now we can put under grow lights on very cold days, and then we can put them outside on relatively warm days. Spinach and radish are both cool, hardy plants, so that they do take these cooler temperatures rather well. So warm winter days, spinach and radish are good to go. The main reason you need to get out in late winter, early March to start gardening in zone 5 or whatever zone you're in is just to get outside. Get that fresh air, get movement in your life. It really, just being out for like an hour can really transform any stresses that you have. It's time to go out. It's time to roll. It's time to work with my hands. It's time to do what God has designed me to do. And we need to start working the land and start growing some food or flowers too. Yeah. All right, friends. Well, thanks for stopping by the farmette, and I'll see you in the next video.